Welcome again to our lectures on the language theory. This is lecture 4 within the first module in the course of the language theory, theoretical phonetics. The lecture is being delivered specially for the students of foreign language to foreign languages studying at the Department of English and German Languages. The theme of this lecture is the system of consonant phonemes in English. The outline of this lecture includes the following points: IPA for English consonants, organs of speech, and the articulatory classification of English consonants. As we have already discussed, the International Phonetic Alphabet is an alphabetical system of phonetic notation based primarily on the Latin alphabet. It was devised by the International Phonetic Association as a standardized representation of the sounds of spoken language. In the IPA, a pulmonic consonant is a consonant made by the abstracting the glottis, the space between the vocal cords, or oral cavity, the mouth, and either simultaneously or subsequently letting out air from the lungs. Pulmonic consonants make up the majority of consonants in the IPA, as well as in human language. All consonants in the English language fall into this category. Here in this chart, you can see the IPA symbols and their classification of English consonants. In this chart, you can see the consonants of North American English and their phonemic symbols, based on the symbols used in teaching pronunciation, and of course some examples. For instance, in the first column, you can see the phonemic symbol of the sound B and examples in the words like boy and cab. Or in the second column, first line, you can see the phonemic symbol of the sound Z and examples in words like zoo, buzz, goes. And here you can see the phonemic symbols, IPA phonemic symbols, and examples in words for all English consonants. In this picture, you can see the organs of speech, which participate in the production of English consonants. They are, to the left, you can see the alveolar ridge, upper gums, teeth, lips, and lower jaw. Then above, you can see the nasal cavity, and to the right, you can see the indicators of the palate, soft palate, velum, uvula, tonsils, tongue, pharynx, vocal cords, and larynx. And now we'll consider in detail the articulatory classification of English consonants. On the articulatory level, each consonant may be identified by stating two general facts about it: what sort of articulatory posture it is formed by, and whereabout in the mouth of pharynx it is produced. Besides these two major characteristics, the particular quality of a consonant may depend on a lot of other factors. That is, by what articulatory organ an abstraction is made, how vocal cords work at the moment of production, what cavity is used as a resonator, what is the force of articulatory effect, and many others. Russian phoneticians classify English consonants according to the following principles: work of the vocal cords and the force of exhalation, active organ of speech and the place of articulation, manner of noise production and the type of obstruction, position of the soft palate. According to the work of the vocal cords and the force of exhalation, English consonants are divided into voiced, for example, b, d, g, z, v, th, j, m, n, l, r, y, w, j, and voiceless, for example, p, t, k, s, f, th, h, sh, ch. The force of exhalation and the degree of muscular tension are greater in the production of voiceless consonant. Therefore, they are called fortis, which means strong, energetic. Voiced consonants are called lenis, which means soft, weak, because the force of exhalation and the degree of muscular tension in their articulation are weaker. The English consonant h, m, n, l, w, r, y do not enter the fortis lattice apposition according to some phoneticians. In Russian, such energy contrast doesn't play an important role. According to the position of the active organ of speech against the place of articulation, English consonants are classified into labial, lingual, and glottal. Labial consonants are subdivided into bilabial and labial dental. Bilabial consonants are produced with both lips. They are p, b, m, w. Labiodental consonants are articulated with the lower lip against the edge of the upper teeth. They are f, v. Lingual consonants are subdivided into forelingual, medialingual, and backlingual. Forelingual consonants are articulated with the tip of the blade of the tongue. According to the position of the tip of the tongue, they may be apical, articulated by the tip of the tongue against either the upper teeth or the alveolar ridge. Cacuminal, articulated by the tongue tip raised against the back part of the alveolar ridge. And dorsal. There are no dorsal consonants in English. According to the place of articulation, forelingual consonants may be interdental, dental, alveolar, post-alveolar, and palatal-alveolar. Interdental consonants are articulated against the upper teeth with the tip. They are th, the. Alveolar consonants are articulated with the tip of the tongue against the alveolar ridge. They are t, d, s, z, n, l. Post-alveolar consonants are articulated with the tip of the tongue against the back part of the alveolar ridge. In English, it is r. Palatal-alveolar consonants are articulated with the tip of the tongue against the alveolar ridge, but the front part of the tongue is raised towards the hard palate. They are ch, j, sh, zh. There are no dental, articulated with the blade of the tongue against the upper teeth, consonants in English. Mediolingual consonants are produced with the front part of the tongue raised high to the hard palate. In English, it is y. Backlingual consonants are also called velar. They are produced with the back part of the tongue raised towards the soft palate. They are k, g, ng. The glottal consonant h is articulated in the glottis. According to the manner of noise production and the type of obstruction, English consonants can be classified in the following way. From the viewpoint of the abstraction, which is formed in their articulation, they are occlusive, complete abstraction, and constrictive, incomplete abstraction. According to the principle of voice on noise prevalence, Russian phoneticians suggest a subdivision of the group of occlusive and the group of constrictive consonants into noise consonants. In their production, noise prevails over tone, and sonorants. In their production, tone prevails over noise. According to the manner of the production of noise, occlusive noise consonants are divided into plosive consonants or stops, p, b, t, d, k, g, and affricates, ch, j. In the production of plosive consonants, the speech organs form a complete abstraction which is then quickly released with plosion. A plosive is a consonant articulation with the following characteristics. One articulator is moved against another, or two articulators are moved against each other so as to form a stricture that allows no air to escape from the vocal tract. The stricture is then total. After this stricture has been formed and air has been compressed behind it, it is released. That is, air is allowed to escape. If the air behind the stricture is still under pressure when the plosive is released, it is probable that the escape of air will produce noise loud enough to be heard. This noise is called plosion. There may be voicing during part or all of the plosive articulation. English has 6 plosive consonants: p, t, k, b, d, g. The plosives have different places of articulation. The plosives p, b are bilabial since the lips are pressed together. T, d are alveolar since the tongue blade is pressed against the alveolar ridge. Normally, the tongue does not touch the front teeth as it does in the dental plosives found in many languages. The plosives k, g are velar. The back of the tongue is pressed against the area where the hard palate ends and the soft palate begins. There are different opinions on the nature of English affricates. The most extreme are the views expressed by Bloch and Traeger, who deny the existence of affricates as monophonemic entities and state that they are biphonemic sequences. The other extreme point of view is that expressed by Jones and Ward, who state that there are 6 or even 8 affricates in the system of English consonants. Russian phoneticians consider affricates as units which are articulatory and acoustically indivisible and morphologically unique. In English, the only occlusive constrictive consonants are ch, j. In the production of occlusive sonorants, m, n, the speech organs form a complete obstruction in the mouth cavity, which is not released. The soft palate is lowered, and the air escapes through the nasal cavity. English constrictive noise consonants, fricatives, are f, v, th, th, s, z, sh, j, h. In their production, the speech organs form an incomplete obstruction. In the production of affricates, the speech organs form a complete obstruction which is then released so slowly that considerable friction occurs at the point of articulation. They are also called occlusive constrictive. There is a combination of the two obstructions. In the production of constrictive sonorants, the air passage is fairly wide, so that the air passing from the mouth does not produce audible friction, and tone prevails over noise. Constrictive sonorants may be median and lateral. In the production of median sonorants, the air escapes without audible friction over the central part of the tongue, the sides of the tongue being raised. In the production of lateral sonorants, the tongue is pressed against the alveolar ridge or the teeth, and the sides of the tongue are lowered, leaving the air passage open along them. And the fourth criterion. According to the position of the soft palate, all English consonants are divided into oral and nasal. When the soft palate is raised and the air from the lungs escapes through the mouth cavity, oral consonants are produced. When the soft palate is lowered and the air escapes through the nasal cavity, nasal consonants are produced. They are m, n, ng. This is all in brief concerning the content of this lecture. As usual, you are suggested to answer a list of comprehension questions to check your comprehension. And as a rule, you are provided with a list of sources for your further reading. Thank you for attention.